ENF at 3:23. If you guys will stand up, we'll have our invocation. Councilor Byrd, do that.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunity to serve our people. Guide and lead us as we make decisions for the betterment of our tribe. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for the weather. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pray in there.
Roll call. Shelley.
Congratulations.
Denise Taylor.
Here.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Alan Buzzard.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
Julia Coates. Here. Sean Crittenden.
Here.
Joe Deere.
Here.
Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Kanan Duncan.
Ani.
Rex Jordan.
Here.
Daryl Legg.
Here.
Wes Snowfire.
Ani.
Dora Petzkowski.
Here.
Mike Shambaugh.
Here.
Mary Bakershaw.
Bonnie.
Theo Smith.
Here.
Victoria Quiz.
Bonnie.
We have a quorum.
Alrighty, it brings us down to the approval of the July 15th minutes.
Move for approval.
I got a motion and a second to approve those minutes. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Okay, that carries. I saw Sean Slayton here. I'm sure he's ready to report for CMB.
Absolutely. Good afternoon.
Hey, Sean.
I'm subbing in for Chuck. Congratulations to him. He's been named the new CEO over there, and he and I are basically flipping spots. He would have liked to have been here today. He was really eager to be here today, and his wife came down with a bad case of appendix trouble last night, and they just did an appendectomy on her. So he asked for your not condolences, but
Prayers.
yeah, that he couldn't be here today. He's with her, and she's doing great. So anyway, it's been my pleasure to serve as CEO for the last 8 years, and we had a good run. It's quite an honor for me as a person to be able to hold that office and to work with administration and certainly the council. And I consider everyone a friend, and it's been a privilege, and I thank you for everything that you did to support me in that position. And Chuck is ready. He is a good person. He's a great person, and he will do a good job. So it's in good hands, and our people are excited, and we're moving forward. Have a ton going on. One thing I want to tell you is we had a great summer financially. Just exceeded our expectations. We started off kind of slow there with the flood, as many people did. Experienced issues there, but we bounced back really quick, and have had 3 great months that I tip my hat to our employees, and that's not just on the gaming side, that's in our diversified business side as well. And speaking of the flood, tomorrow by noon we hope to have Fort Gibson open. We're going to do a soft opening there, and just let it kind of trickle back in and build itself back up and get the facility broken back in slowly. A couple of other projects. The Saline Courthouse, we have completed the caretaker's house there. He has moved in. He is, doing what needed to be done there for a long time. That's having a full-time person there. So we're happy about that, and we've been waiting on the fire marshal to approve some items there to get the courthouse finished, and look for that to complete early this fall. Our new clinic, we are continuing to work on that to get that finished. Working with Flint Co. We've started the med school. We ran into some rock, and that put us a little bit behind schedule. Imagine rock being over there. And so we're trying to play catch up with that. Over at Wilma P., we've been doing our estimates and reviews of the plans, and hope to get started on that soon. If you've been to the Hard Rock lately, you'll notice if you approach from 193rd, the renovation going on on the exterior. Very excited to see what that looks like whenever it's completed. I've seen the renderings. It's going to really make that place pop. Phase 1 will be the east and the south around the joint. And then Phase 2 will be around the hotel towers and the back porte-cochere in that area. It's expected to take about a year to 18 months to complete all that, and it's a big undertaking, but it's past due on that. That's almost 15, 20 years old there on some of that. So looking forward to see what that is. We will be building a grand entrance that will start here shortly. Project that I've been looking forward to getting completed is the storm shelters at all of our spots, and we've made a lot of progress on that, and that should complete here in the near future. But with all the storms that come through Oklahoma, especially up around Ramona and South Coffeyville, and seems to be a track there in Grove, our people are somewhat exposed. We have safer areas, but when it's at capacity, it's hard to get everybody in those areas. So we're looking forward to that finishing up. Last thing I'll touch on before questions is Arkansas. And I'm proud to announce that over the last couple, 2 or 3 weeks, that Cherokee Nation businesses received the exclusive letter of support from the Pope County Quorum Court. And I said letter, it's not a letter, it's a resolution. And that resolution allows us to approach the Racing Commission to try to get a license from the Racing Commission. So we made application again last week for that. There was a 90-day window opened by the Racing Commission the week before last. I think today is down to day 78 or 79 and counting down. We've been working with the county, and at this point we feel like we will be the only party that has a letter or a resolution from the county. And so there's a lot going on over there. There were a lot of people that had hurt feelings over it, that wanted to put a casino there. And so lots of things flying around and this and that, but I can tell you that we feel good about our chances to win that license. And Chuck and I will be practically living over there for the next 79 days. And next week we will have our office open over there to try to take care of the public, have little knickknacks and things like that. But again, to try to be part of that community and let them know that we're going to be a good community partner over there. It's a big thing for our future, and we're very appreciative of getting that support from the Quorum Court, and we're going to work hard to make sure that they understand that we were the right choice. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Sean, from exit, what is it, 82, I guess, right there, going into Hot Springs, what's the mileage, 85?
It's Russellville, and
82 is Russellville, yes.
yeah, and I'm not sure what do you mean by
My
mileage?
question is, it's probably what, 80 to 90 miles away to Hot Springs. Do you anticipate the Racing Commission saying no? Is that a possibility?
Do I anticipate that? The Constitution says they shall issue a license, not they may, but they shall. So, without saying a whole lot, I'm sure there are entities over there that would prefer there just to be 3 instead of 4.
Right.
And there are entities that wanted to be the 4th that still haven't given up. And so, it's going to be an interesting 79 days. They've some of the other parties have filed various lawsuits. I'm sure that the Racing Commission, before they issue a license, would want to be sure that those lawsuits have been settled and that before they issue a license. So we're trying to help get that done, and we'll just see what happens. It is about 80 miles, I think, or 90 down there to Oak Lawn from Russellville.
So technically, it's a horse race, but we're the favored horse, right?
Right now in Polk County, we're the only horse.
This is good.
Yeah, there's some trying to get in the gate, but they haven't been able to get out of it yet.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Counselor Shamrow's got something for you.
I really don't have a question. I have more of a comment. I've listened to you for a couple of years now, and, you know, been successful in what you've done, Sean. And you have had the best interests of the Cherokee Nation at your heart. I mean, you guys have done well. You've done well making money. You know, now you've done what you need to do to try to protect our interests, and you know, you've shown that. And personally, I like to say thank you. You know, have enjoyed you for the last couple of years, and you know, you're not going far, and I know you'll continue to do what you've been doing. But just like to say thank you for, you know, your service that you've done to the nation.
Well, I appreciate that, Mike. Any success that I've had is all because of the people that work for the nation, and we have a lot of great people, a lot of great young people that are coming up in our steps. We have, you know, Trey was just appointed to her new spot, and they don't all get the exposure for you to really know the talent that we have, and most of it's Cherokee, young Cherokee people. And when I say that, anybody a day less than my age, which is 60, is young to me. So that covers all of our employees when I say that. And I'm very proud of the financial stuff, of course, but I'm even more proud of the people. And so that's been the best part of this job. I told people when I came here, I didn't have anything, and I was a broken man. And this became my family. So very appreciative of that.
Sean, you came here about 17 years ago, maybe 20 years ago?
22 last week.
22. We appreciate everything that you've done, and I know you're going to continue working with us. The issue in Arkansas, Russellville, Polk County, that's Cherokee ancestral lands.
Absolutely.
It's not the ocean people from out east.
Mhm.
It's not our brothers and sisters to the south. That's our area there.
Absolutely.
We don't go into their ancestral lands.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just history to us. But for you and your staff and what you accomplished, I know it was an investment, a minimum investment to save so many jobs and continue the revenue there on our borders. We really appreciate what you've done. And it's good to hear you're not going very far, because I'm one of those guys, if it's not broke, you really don't try to fix it. And so I'm glad to hear you're staying around.
Well, thank you. I played on a lot of teams, and sometimes I played forward and sometimes I played center. I never did get to play point guard till now.
Well,
they
Jerry
watch me-
Holderman and I, we wouldn't pass you the ball much.
So, anyway, it's been, like I said, it's an honor and my privilege.
Thanks for the update. Thank
You're
you, Madam
welcome.
Chair.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, you can.
I think one of the first things we need to do down in Arkansas is fix all those Trail of Tears signs that look all roached out and are terrible. That would be a good gesture to people down there to get us going.
You know, each Sunday we have run, had the inside front page of the newspaper and various things in there. And probably, if not the most popular, one of the most popular was the article we ran about our heritage there, the Cherokee heritage there. And after that, it just seemed to kind of turn around the attitude of the community and people that reached out to us. And it's really been fun to see that and watch that. Speaker's right. there's a lot of heritage down there that I didn't have any clue about. A lot of the street names are named after Cherokee, and Sequoia came from that area. And they still have a place down on the river. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently it was in the treaty that's called out, and it's two huge rocks, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's Dardanelle Rock or something like that has a lot of heritage. So I think they're open to whatever the Cherokee people would like to do there to kind of reconnect.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Harlan.
Sean, I appreciate what you've done over the years and got to know you on a personal basis for several years. But, I just want to say what an excellent job you've done as leadership there at Cherokee Nation Businesses. One thing I want to say is, and I know Molly Jarvis had a lot to do with this, is the courthouse downtown. I toured it the other day, and it's probably one of the best-looking courthouse museums in the state of Oklahoma. Really proud of that, what was done there and what it looks like. I just, you know, you look at the courthouse, it doesn't really look that big for a museum, but when you go in, the way it was arranged, it makes all the difference in the world.
It does.
So thank you guys for doing that. And I just want to pass on something else, and I'll elaborate to the new CEO that I've had a lot of people from the Grove community talk about the casino that you guys have built up there and how proud they are of it, the niceness of it, the location of it. And what they're telling me now is we need a hotel, motel, and we need the convention center and a steakhouse. Anyway, I said, well, I'll pass it on to the business people over there.
That sounds like a good proposal for the new CEO to make. This is true. This is true. The announcement was made, on a Thursday or Friday about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. I had 4 calls after that, and I said, you know what? That sounds like a good question for the new CEO.
Well, I just want to pass it on since you're second in command, and I will. I'll talk to you.
I'll pass it on.
But anyway, people are really proud of that casino up there, and so am I.
It's doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Anybody else?
I think he deserves a
Yeah,
big
thank you.
Okay, that brings us down to our treasurer's report. Come on, both of you. Obviously, you got to tag team us today.
Good afternoon, Tribal Council. I believe you have our report for June. I'd just like to add a couple items. The Financial Resources Department's been diligently processing order requests and receiving supplies for the holiday this weekend, and we're looking forward to a very successful Cherokee National Holiday. And here we are at the end of August, and so we're starting to plan the closeout of FY19, believe it or not. So thank you very much, ma'am. Be happy to try to answer any questions unless you'd like to say anything else.
I think we're good, but don't run off because we may need you during the budget mod.
Understood.
Okay, we'll move on then. Diane Kelly, can't wait to have her turn. Always got good stuff to say.
Well, good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the council. I just want to say welcome to the new council members, Julia. And I want to thank all of the council members who made the tour and orientation very successful. We finished around 11 o'clock last night. Was that about what time you guys got back? About 11 o'clock. But we went into just about the majority of the counties, and everywhere we went, everybody was so gracious. We had mayors, we had chambers of commerce there. Council members turned out at different locations. Rex served ice cream and pie with Gary. Joe came down and ate with us at the Cowie Cafe. EO, he's got the energy, a lot more than I do. He was on everything. And Harley came out last night. Mike came out. I mean, Victoria, she hosted us at the clinic. Keith, he gave us some little goodie bags and told a little history about their posters at Claremore. Since we didn't go through Claremore, had to plug that. and Janice was real gracious. She came out and helped. It was just a really good orientation, and for those of you who missed out, I'm sorry you missed out, but I hope that it was beneficial for all of you. The administration, the chief's office, the Secretary of State, chief staff, different ones worked on aspects of it, and all of the executive directors and cabinet members wanted to make sure that you had general information so that when you're trying to deliberate or make decisions about the tribe programs, you have that in that document, and then you got to see some of the locations firsthand. And there's one more orientation, and that will be the 17th. So Sean said the new CEO will take care of that. So I just want to say thank you. You have my report. I know that you guys have had a busy day. I'm not going to take up very much time. I'll have a lot more to report next month, but we are doing a lot in training and jobs. And for those of you that are new on the council, we always come to the executive finance and report on TARO, jobs, and we report on the training piece in the education committee. So if you can remember that, so that you don't mix TARO and education. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Diane?
Diane, in talking with the staff from Pryor yesterday, they shared with me that they were going to be having an event in Rogers County very soon. I think the term they used was a reverse job fair.
Yes.
That's the first I've heard that term used in this capacity. But it was very exciting when they told me what it was, and I would love for the rest of the council people to hear about this thing you're trying.
Okay. I could probably tell you about it next month a lot better than I can right now, because I do know about it, but I'm not really sure how they are presenting it. And I may tell you something wrong. I know what the reverse job fair that I attended was, but I'm not sure what theirs is. They're working with Mid-America Industrial Park on a lot of their activities, and we have Manufacturing Month in October, so I'm sure that's one of the reasons why we're doing that.
Well, when you do find out more,
I will
include
be
that in your
glad
next
to
report.
share it with you. Be glad to.
Any other questions for Diane?
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Okay, we are running very short on time. Shay is here for Commerce. If anybody has any questions, let's try and get through it fast. If not, we may just let the report stand. Does anybody have any objection to that?
Good point.
Shay, do you object to that?
I'm not. Holiday mode, I'm
All right, thank you very much, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Okay, that does bring us down to the consent items. The tarot certifications are in your book. Rex, did you like all of those?
Yes, I'd make a motion that we approve the tarot certifications.
Motion and a second on tarot. All those in favor? Any opposition? Community assistance. You guys really need to look over those, because this is your last chance to change them, and I do need to make some changes to mine.
I have one change.
Can we go in advance?
On mine, the Locust Grove Arts should have been 2,500 rather than 1,000. So I need to up that to 2,500.
Okay.
I need to, on the Emmanuel Baptist, that is going to be split between me and Keith. So make that 250 for me.
And 265 for me.
Oh, look at him, he has to outdo me.
Well, that's what I have left.
And then for my remaining, I need to go 397 to Locust Grove Roundup Club and 500 to RSU Foundation.
6 weeks of donations.
It is, and you've got quite a bit, Joe. I'm just saying. Don't leave it. Do you want me to spend it for you?
Yeah, hey, I'm broke.
Shambach,
It's in the book. There was no
you
changes.
got some money?
County for you, Joe.
You do it next month?
We got one more.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Don't we get one more month?
Can they
Jody,
do
we get
that?
one more month to spend?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's just take it as it is.
Let's take it as it is and go.
Counselor Crittenden, did you have something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to 590, that's what I have left. Jeremiah Foundation, please.
Jeremiah Johnson. No fire in Jordan's bought some money. Counselor Coach, do you have any left? Did they spend it?
not.
Okay, with those changes,
Make a motion to approve.
I got a motion and a second on community assistance. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? All right.
With that note, Chair, we do have one more month, but I'm sure Gail would appreciate getting one in as, all your paperwork in as soon as possible in September, because we'll have to have a quick turnaround to get those out before the end of the month.
Add
So
500 to all those churches that I usually give to. There's like 5 of them. I'll spend some of them. Okay, let's go. I'll make a motion.
Law enforcement. Okay, so
We're
can
good.
I have a second on law enforcement?
Motion second.
What do
We
you
on law
want?
enforcement?
We got a motion and a second on law enforcement, so you
Yeah.
can make your changes now.
No,
Go.
there you go.
Good. Jody, you got that in front of you?
I'll make it.
Well, I gotta check my balance here.
Oh, I can.
Sorry.
You have 4,000.
1,500, Stillwell Sheriff's Department.
Listed stick, not leave you any money.
Adair County Sheriff's Department.
You better look at some travel expense money that rolls over in October.
There should have been a lot.
The law enforcement does carry over also.
Okay, all right, good.
You don't have to spend all of it.
I know, I do.
Is that it?
Okay, did you have a law enforcement change? Who else had a law
No, we're
enforcement
good, we're
change?
good. Let's move.
Oh, Counselor Shambaugh.
5,000 to West Side
Law enforcement does carry over too, so you don't have to spend all of it next month.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Okay, roads,
Make a motion to approve.
thank you. Motion and a second on the roads, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? There were a few new sports teams, but I need a motion.
I make a motion to approve in a second.
Motion and second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposition?
I've stopped.
Livestock, we're good.
Motion there approved. Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Okay, Counselor Austin, would you move us into our budget mod, please?
Certainly, this is Capital Mod 5, an act amending Legislative Act 21-18 authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2019, Mod 5. I move for its approval and declare, and ask that it be declared an emergency.
Second.
Motion and a second on the capital budget, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Okay,
Yes, ma'am. This is an act amending Legislative Act 2218, authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2019, Mod 11, and declaring an emergency. I move for its approval.
and that is a substitute mod.
Yes, there is a substitute mod, so it'll be Mod 11A. There's one item added. It's for Human Services Emergency Assistance. It's a general fund budget, adding $75,000 to provide services for the remainder of the fiscal year, and the funding is provided by the additional tax commission budgeted net revenue, and the new expenditure total is $300,750 for that budget.
And just for clarity, most of that overage occurred due to the flooding that we had, and we did a lot of emergency services there, ran them short in some other areas. So we're having to prop them up a little bit to make it through the last couple months. So all those in favor of the budget mod, the substitute mod?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Got a motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Okay.